is the Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast, bringing you this week's Genesis Scottish Open, baby. We'll be recapping the John Deere Classic, which I was at. As you can tell by the shape of my hat, it gets worse and worse every year. As always, the show is brought to you by DraftKings. Use code FGD when signing up. Say it out loud with me, people. FGD in the background over there. When depositing for a first time, that'd really help us, help you. Please do that. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Tell your aunties and your uncles all about it. We have a winner from last week's comment as well. Congratulations to Mike. Name? Forgot already.
Oh, forgot it.
I forgot it already.
I'll get it.
We're going to put it on the screen. It's terrible. I need it in the chat. It wasn't there. Now we've missed it. We'll get it to you. Hit us in the comments below. Who's going to win this week? Whoever the name is that we're forgetting. Hit Chris got her up last week. Congratulations. Free month in the Model Maniac Patreon. Reach out to me there at the Model Maniac. As always, I'm brought to you by the man of the moment, the king of the couch, Kenny Kim, my co-host. What's cooking, Kenny?
What's up, man? Pretty remarkable win by Goddard. If you Justin Ray had a stat earlier today talking about there's been 4 instances where a golfer has shot 64 or better in the final round to win this season. 3 of them were Goddard. The 64 at the Sony, 64 at Waste Management, and 62 at the John Deere Classic. Won all 3 of those events. You could definitely tell that Goddard is a Sunday warrior. The other person on that list is Wyndham Clark. He shot 60 at the CJ Cup to get his W. So those are the 4 golfers that have shot 64 or better, are the 4 times a golfer has shot 64 or better to win an event this season. And Goddard has done that 3 times himself. So really, really impressive stuff by him. If you listened to the show last week, I did say it was my top bet was either going to be between Griffin or Goddard. And since I picked Griffin, Goddard's probably going to win. Well, that happened. He definitely got the W. Big win by him. Pretty impressive stuff. The guy's probably going to be the best player under 30 years old in like a year, less than a year. I think Cam Young's 29. I think Morikawa's 29 in a few months. Goddard was 26. He'll probably be the best player under
baller,
30
man.
In golf.
He is a baller. And, losing to the tournament, we had Ben Coles on this side of the screen. I was there watching. Had a fantastic week regardless, though. 10-unit week for me, 9.5-unit week. And it was without an outright. So we had Zach Blair, first-round leader, half. So that was a 5.5 units. Then we had him for the top 5 for first-round leader. That was another 2 units. And we had Ben Coles, top 5, top 10, top 20. Some good stuff. Bezzy, top 40. And we had Blades Brown for a top 20 as well. We had him for a top 10. He finished T12. Tough scenes there. And then we had an Emiliano Grillo ladder as well. So I was watching a variety of these guys throughout the week. It was an awesome time. And pretty much followed Ben Coles from hole 6. And it was fantastic golf for the entire round until we got to hole 18. And that was one of the, when it was so full that we were watching him, we couldn't get like the best seats or the best view. So I was standing up way up on the bank, high up. I could see him hit the shot, but then couldn't see the ball flight, but I could still see where the green was. And the next thing I just see this ball bounding and bounces once, bounces off the rocks and then in the water. And I'm just like, I just kept telling myself while I'm standing there, this is the best iron player in the field. This is why you bet him, is because he's the best iron player in the field. He can knock this to 4 or 5 feet. Instead, we are in the water and a very expensive hole. Mr. 2-footer for $300K and a couple hundred FedEx Cup points as well. So I'm like almost more gutted for him than I am for myself as a Ben Coles outright holder there, Kenny. It was...
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for him is he doesn't have his card.
No.
So he's playing the Corn Ferry Tour. Now, he'll probably get his card via the Corn Ferry Tour this coming up season. I think he's in the top 10. I think he had a win a few weeks ago. And he's been playing well over there. So he'll make it. But I mean, like, his big thing is the putting, right? For him, it was a struggle. He's been struggling with the putter, and it's been looking sort of good the whole week. And it's sort of funny that the iron game is the one that really messed him up on 18. It's sort of the exact opposite of Jackson Super, who played well. Ball striking was great. He really couldn't make a putt. Bunch of 3 putts, banging putts, 25 feet by. Probably one of the worst putting performances I've seen from a guy in that final round, from a guy in contention. It's something we have to keep an eye on when it comes to Suber. Yeah. For me, it was a good week. Go ahead.
Sorry, Kenny. He switched a putter. He switched from a zero torque to a face balance putter. I can't tell you what that is, but word on the street is that happened a month ago. And since then, he's won on the KFT. Since then, he's done his thing. Shout out Garrett Johnson that I pulled this up here. So he's had a putting issue, and he switched from putters to putters and won the BMW Charity Pro-Am on the KFT. So shout out to him in that department. Sometimes monitoring equipment of a golfer, if you can, I think weather edges and equipment information are 2 of the bigger areas in golf betting that we can still kind of find some leverage, because anytime a guy changes a putter and doesn't change putters often, it can make him have a really good putting week. And we've seen Ben Coles now putt fantastic in the last 4 weeks with this new putter. So good things to come for Benjamin. Yeah, you had a good week too,
he'll make the next event at the 3M. He'll be able to play in
the 3M. He's playing the ISCO.
He's playing the ISCO.
10th week in a row.
I think he probably would have gotten in there anyways. I don't know if he's playing next week at the Open, but he'll get in on the next PGA Tour event most likely with the top 10, unless the ISCO counts for that. I don't know if it does. I don't think so, since it's an alternate.
I wouldn't imagine so. It's likely 3M that he's in, and I think this time of the year, I think he's bumping himself. I don't even know how he got into the John Deere, to be honest with you, but I'd imagine his priority ranking is getting better and better as he's had a couple better finishes now. So some sponsors invites potentially. I think there's good things to come for Ben Coles. Got a soft spot in my heart. As always, the John Deere is an amazing week. So
yeah, it sucked for him. Good week for me. I had Homa. He finished second. Got the each way hit on him. Got the full each way payment on Doug Gim, who finished 6th, tied for 6th, but still inside the top 8. So I got the full payment for him, the each way. It was a good week. I think 5 of the last 6 weeks have been profitable. In those 6 weeks, I've had 10 each ways, a first round leader, and a winner. I'm up 38 units pure profit in the last 10 weeks. So it's been pretty solid. For DFS, my cash lineup, the 4 cash game cornerstones made the cut. The other 2 did not. Now, the problem was I was right on the line for cash. The only 2 lineups that it hit were the $100 single entry double up, which was the biggest one I played. It cashed in that, and it cashed in a $10. So I put $225 in cash. I got $220 back. That's not horrible. I also had a GPP lineup with Homa, Goddard, and Coles in it. Finished 35th. It had Denny, who missed the cut. It had Poston, who didn't play very well, and Ewert, who didn't play very well. If I substituted Doug Gim for Denny, it probably would have been a top 5, top 8 GPP lineup. So that sort of hurt, but I still won $400 on that. I also cashed in the $55, won $100 there. So I won like $730 when I put in $505, and I didn't win in cash. So again, it's a good week. I'm up $7,000 this year. I looked so far in DFS for the year. I'm up $1,200 in betting for the year. I've actually looked back at records the last 3 years. Since I started each way betting, I've actually made more money hitting each ways than outrights. I've had 17 outrights since February of 2024 is when I started the each way betting. Right now we're in July of 2026. And I've won like 26 grand in each way bets, hits around there. I won like 23 grand in outrights. And then I've spent 41 grand on the bet. So I'm up 8K in the last 3 years, but I've won more on each way bets than I have on outrights. And that's how huge each way. I guess if I look back on it and I didn't do the each ways and I doubled down on the outrights, I still would be losing. We wouldn't have made as much money as the outrights. If I doubled down, I would have won another 23,000, which would make it 46,000. But with the each ways and the outrights, I've made 49. So of course, that's not all profit. That's just $8 grand. I got to spend around 41 in bets in that time. So it's a good year. It's going pretty well right now. I feel comfortable in my process. I feel really comfortable in how I'm allocating my bankroll. The big thing for me, $505 every week in DFS, 5 GPP lineups, the $100 single entry, 2 in the $55 tournament, 1 in the $33 tournament, and my cash lineup I put in a $12 GPP. I also put those 5 lineups in $5 drive the greens just in case, and then I put in, so that's around $280, $290 in GPPs, and I put in $280 in GPPs, and then $225 in cash, just double up. So that's the way I'm going about it. About 45% of my bankroll goes to cash, goes to double ups. The rest goes to GPPs. And then, of course, for betting, 8 units is what I bet each week total. So $400. And I'm betting each way bets on everything. One each way bet usually gets me $250 to $300. So it brings back the majority of my money back. I'm very, very comfortable with this. This is probably the way I'm going to do it for an extended amount of time, unless I go through a really, really, really dry spot. I just don't see it happening with the way that I'm going about it. I'm sure it can happen. I'm sure it will happen. But in my mind, I don't see it happening. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm spending $900 a week, a little bit more, $900 a week total every week in DFS and betting.
Yeah, I love that process, Kenny. And you know what? I think that's very important, is to have something that you stick to, a routine, and a process that you adopt. And whether it works or not, you've got to do it for a while to see if it does or doesn't. And then you tweak, and then you tinker, like I know, some people that just bet outrights only, they're pretty good at them. I wouldn't classify myself as like a professional outright bettor, but I walked away from the John Deere Classic very happy because I had a lot of exposure on Ben Cole's upside with top 5s, top 10s, and top 20s as well. So I kind of felt at peace just watching that ball fly into the water. Was it an 8.5 unit swing? Yeah, it was. Did it hurt some GPPs that me and boys had together? Yeah, it did, but it is what it is. Ultimately hedging your bets with the top 5, with the top 10 is the way to go. The same thing with Kenny with the each ways. That's at times 8 places, 10 places. So having that kind of benefit and like reliability or bailout, for a good play that just didn't quite get it home is absolutely necessary as well. And it typically helps in the first round leader market as well. I do not bet around that market without the each ways or top 5s because they get chopped so often. So a nice little top 5 there, if your guy does still get dead heated for the outright side of things, you're still getting that full each way at like 20 to 1, 23 to 1. And I've just been spamming guys that are just first round leader dogs, roughly 9 to 10 of them at 0.1 unit to get a full unit out there. And then you win between 7 to 10 to 12 units on that. And then if you have 2 guys finish inside the top 5, then you're making money, just by having multiple guys get in there. And usually one of them's in the mix. And we had Zach Blair and Patrick Fishburne, both top 6 with Zach Blair T1. So it was a good week at the John Deere Classic. I got to watch Zach Blair insane up and down out of a 9 greenside bunker to cash the ticket. I think he was -8 at the time. Needed to get up and down to tie whoever was it, Glover, that also shot -8 in round 1. And he did an incredible up and down on 9. I was pretty much dead in that bunk over there. So I had a great time walking around with the guys this week as well, Kenny. As you know, I was at the event, got there Thursday morning, kind of cruised around, watched Aldrich and Garrick. Aldrich just did not have it at all. I was super excited to see Aldrich do his thing, just rip driver around there. Bogeyed 10, bogeyed 11. I think he bogeyed 12. Just 3 over early, and then he kind of clawed himself back and then lost the plot. But did you see Aldrich almost drive the green on 6?
I didn't get to watch too much this week,
dude.
Because of the 4th of July and stuff. Like that.
Mike, so I just want to recap some stuff from the week, if you guys don't mind. Your guy Doug Gim, Kenny, he's now hit every green and every fairway in regulation in a single round twice. It's the first time anyone's done that since 1983. So Doug doing some seriously good work. I mean, this guy's a ball striker.
It was nice. The funny thing is he hasn't been as good this season, right? Like the other parts of his game have been getting better while his ball striking has sort of lagged behind. We see that in a lot of golfers who are trying to improve different parts of their game. Where the other parts of their game where maybe they're not working as much tend to struggle a little bit. And you've seen that with Doug with his ball striking this season. But he looked great this past week. I think he's live this week at the Open Champion at the Scottish Open. The big thing for him was he had an 8-footer for par on 18, his final hole yesterday. Needed to make it for me to get the whole place. 8-footer by Doug Gim, you're not feeling too confident, right?
That's to average 50-50.
Yeah, he definitely drained it, and it was very nice. And I thought it would, and because of that, it gave me the bogey-free round, all rounds under 60, and that's what got me into the cash in the $100 single entry double up, which was that with the $10 were the only ones. I didn't win any of the 50s. I didn't win any of the 25s. I think I did. Yeah. I just won, the $10 and that one. So yeah, it was nice with him playing well. If he can get, because his short game and his putting have improved, right? If he can get his ball striking to where it was, the guy can get a win.
Dude, but the thing is, he's just, some of these guys just aren't competitors. You can see it when you walk with them as well. They're like, they're lifeless. You can like tell that they just don't have what you need in order to dominate. But here's Aldrich on hole 6. It's a 360-yard hole that everyone just basically hits an iron off the tee over here. No, Aldrich decides to hit it 350 yards all the way to the runoff in front of the green over here, and then chips in for eagle. As well. We were sitting in the media center. We just saw this. It was just incredible to see what he got up to. Still missed the cut.
He was, he was in that $55 lineup that I had that won $100. He was the miscut.
I had a 5 of 6 that also was a double up in a 33, and it was with Aldrich casualty as well. So, and a Ben Coles as well. That was a brutal situation there, but figured I'd share that with you guys. I had, if you don't see any of this stuff, I was like driving around thinking about Scotty Scheffler. If you could name a street after Scotty Scheffler, would you not name it Tanglefoot? Is that just not a Scotty Scheffler situation? So anyway, Mike, shut the screen down here. I had a blast at the John Deere Classic. Tom Kim, super talented golfer. Cannot make putts.
Really bad.
Cannot make putts. And it's by ball hairs. He's missing by fractions of a read, of things like that. He's just not getting it home, but he ball struck the living.
Missing the cup and shit on shore. I mean, like he's right there. He's just not getting the members bounce basically a lot of the times. Yeah. So a lot of lip outs and stuff like that. He's definitely on the radar again this week.
Absolutely. I think he's 100% on the radar. He was fun to watch. I walked along with Max Homa for a little bit, multiple times. He is one of the most beloved golfers, obviously, on the tour. So the crowds were typically pretty big around him. And it was so hot, Kenny. Like this hat keeps losing its shape because of moisture. And it wasn't necessarily, I never wore it in the rain. It's just humid, and it's like 85 degrees, 90 degrees, but it's so humid that it's like you're just trying to focus on just doing one thing at a time.
Yeah, we were at like 103 with 112 heat index here in DC last week.
It was 126 for us in Ontario. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Brutal. Yeah. And people still think we live in igloos.
Well, half the year. No, but had a great time walking around there. I just enjoyed seeing how he interacted with the fans. He made a little kid's day, giving him his ball. I've never seen a kid run down the hill and uphill that fast. I was like watching him, just thinking if I could even do this, and it was an impossibility. Like if I tried, I would have eaten shit or ripped cartilage out of every part of my legs if I tried to even do that. So it was a fun week. Met flag hunting. Shout out Ian, flag hunting pod. We hung out for most of the week over there, just kind of nerding out. I mean, it's so nice to find another unicorn, a data nerdy unicorn out there that we were buddies right away. So it was an awesome time. Ben Coles just couldn't get it home, man. It was fun watching him, and he had it under control until he did not on the very last hole. So
yeah, got her up. That birdie on 17 ended up fucking me hard because it would have tied. Homer would have tied. We went to playoff. Because I didn't think he was going to birdie that when he chipped it about 20 feet past for eagle. And he drained that putt. He drained a lot of putts.
Did you see the 4 he made on 15? He when we were watching, because by the time he was on 15, I think Coles was on 10 at the time. So I'm like standing on 10. I was like, oh, you right of the fairway on 15. He's got her up. That's dead. Hits an absolute piss missile draw through the 2 trees on the right-hand side, threw them over the green to dead. Turns out he gets there, the ball's sitting perfectly on an upslope.
Oh, he hit that flopper that rolls down to like 3 feet. That was a really nice shot by him.
It was, but it wasn't a difficult shot. He executed it, but he had an upslope and he had a perfect
him, right? The water's behind that hole, correct?
No, I'm thinking not on 15. Yes,
17. Okay.
17 also doesn't have water. I don't know what water you're thinking of. That's on 10. Like 10 has got the water. Whatever. He got up and down. Then Coles hits it left of 15 fairway by a couple feet, gets in a really crappy lie, hits it, gets into another nasty lie, duffs the chip basically to 17 feet, misses the putt. Like it just is how the golf gods treat you. Like they both missed the fairway. Both missed the green. Neither had, one had a great opportunity, the other didn't. And
Homer did get lucky because he did a Brian Campbell on 18, where he hit the tree and it bounced straight back into the fairway.
Yeah, you need that. You need that because right of 18 is dead. That grass there is so thick.
I know we're probably not going to talk about the ISCO that much, but I'm thinking a single bullet Homer.
Yeah. I was thinking of single bullet goals.
Like 18 to 1 or something like that, I think Homer. Yeah, might do a double with like a Homer Fleetwood or Homer Wyndham Clark or some shit like that.
Yeah. I don't know.
I got a feeling about Fleetwood. It's weird.
Some guys.
We'll talk about this later, but I got a weird feeling. Like this feeling reminds me of what I felt about Fleetwood when I bet him at the Tour Championship. And of course, I bet him at 10 to 1, which is pretty fucking stupid for Fleetwood, right? Right? If you think about it, pretty fucking dumb to bet Fleetwood 10 to 1. Now it was without Scotty at the Tour Championship, but I just had this feeling, and I just looking at him again this week, I just have that feeling again. I don't know. I think Tommy wins this week. It's just a weird thing where I just saw his name and it just gave me flashbacks of last August, and we'll see.
We'll see. There's your preview of the betting preview this early in the show, but I think that's going to be it from me for the recap on the John Deere. Anything else that you wanted to chat about, Kenny? Shout out Patty Harrington winning the Senior US Open, who's now got a top 20 at a major on the PGA Tour at T18 at the PGA Championship, and then won the US Open for the Old Dogs. And incredible interview afterwards. As always, the easiest interview is a Patrick Harrington interview. You ask him one question, it could be anything, and you just hold the microphone there until he's done talking, because he
basically like Gary Player, but like likable.
No. Don't you start your slanderous bullshit. Yeah, he's like Gary Player, but like 30 years younger than Gary. Gary Player is 90 years old, Kenny. The things Gary Player did for this world, this country, would offset all the negative things you've done by a million.
I'm sure.
All the negative things I've done.
I'm sure. Great people can do great things and not be likable.
He's old. What makes him unlikable? The stuff he says in his 90s and 80s because he's behind a microphone too much? Yeah. Living in an era that's like completely... Arnold Palmer can't be saying this dumb shit because he's in a graveyard. You know what I'm saying?
I don't need some 80-year-old telling me that I'm fat. I don't need some 80-year-old telling me that I need to be in better shape. I'm good. I don't need to hear that shit from him.
Why not?
Because I don't want to hear it.
Was he wrong?
Talk about how good you used to be. I don't give a fuck about your health. Good for you.
Was he wrong?
I don't give a fuck.
He's changed people's lives, Kenny.
In a very unlikable way. It's not even like, well, it's like he's just basically calling you out straight from the fucking jump. I just don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like his family. I don't like him.
I do not like his family either. I couldn't agree more with you on the family side, but Gary Player is a legend. This amount of slander will not be
a legend.
Tolerated,
Definitely. Doesn't mean I have to like him.
He's my
Doesn't
boy.
mean he can't be a big tool. Doesn't mean he can't be a big douchebag. We've definitely talked about this before in the past, about golfers. They can be the best. They can be amazing, but they can be assholes too. And I consider him an asshole.
He is being an asshole for the betterment of that person's life. If that person decides that he's going to take that asshole's advice, then he's changed his life despite being hated by the man. That's all that Gary wants. You think he wants to be, he probably could do it nicer, but I think he's found some results and changed some people's lives.
He likes hearing the sound of his own voice.
That's also very true. I think he's a man with many, many opinions. But again, he's in his 90s. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to health. Yeah, we are. Me got my double chin. I should probably listen to Gary Player at some point. But he's never told me that I'm fat. So I might go stand around him at some point the next time I see him just so he can tell me to get my shit into gear. But I'll be biking across Iowa here in 2 weeks' time for 7 days straight. So I think I'm going to be okay.
So one thing we got to talk about, the USA-Belgium game is on today. We'll go away from golf. If you guys don't want to hear World Cup talk, just fast forward. Go to the timestamps. But I got to ask you, what did you think of the recall of the suspension?
It's incredible. 100. Tell me a bit more information because I just know that it's happened. I don't know exactly how.
Basically, what happens, it was a violation that really shouldn't have been a red card. Everyone says that it should not have been a red card, but they gave him the red card because of VAR. And then Trump called, and Trump was like, "Yo, fix this shit," and they fixed that shit. Right? We say what you want about Trump. Motherfucker got this done. There's no doubt about that.
No,
now you can argue about the importance of it compared to other things that might be important for our nation, but the motherfucker got shit done on this, right? So the people. So as someone who's, I guess you're not European, you're South African, but like someone who's not lived in America their entire lives or are American, lived in America basically my entire life. So, I'm all for this, right? It's great. I love it. But what do you think of it? Because technically, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, no, I'm obviously all for it as well. I mean, that's so bad. It's so gangster. It's like so gangster. It's just to just enforce your power on a sporting event that's happening in your country.
It truly is.
Hell yes, I go for it. Do I think it's fair?
Sympathizer. I stay out of politics and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I mean, that was pretty.
Yeah, this has got nothing to do with politics. This is the president of America putting America first. Anyone that is American that disagrees with this, you've got to. I mean, you just got to love it. Just deal with it. Everything else aside. Obviously, as an import, I know, we both know it's not fair at all. The rules are the rules, man. If it was a bad call, it's a bad call. But at the same time, it's like, this is so funny.
The only counter argument there was they did this for Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo had a 3-game suspension from a red card because he did some fucked up shit. And that was like the game before the World Cup started. So he would have missed like 2 of the first 2 games of the World Cup, and FIFA was like, we're going to rescind it.
Precedence.
So it's not like it's never happened, right? But because it's America, I think it's a pretty big deal. Because Trump's involved, it's a pretty big deal. And I just figured I just wanted to hear from somebody else's point of view because I think it's awesome, right? I know the people across the pond probably don't think so, right? But the motherfucker, you're right. He helped America out on this one. There's no doubt.
Yeah. It's one of the most patriotic things anyone's ever done is just enforce your power for the betterment of a sports team in the World Cup. Incredible stuff there. So, yeah, good luck to USA. This will obviously go live after the results. We never know. Obviously, I believe they are massive underdogs in this situation. So,
I think Belgium's like a top 10 team in the world, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, we stacked the deck. Now we just got to pull the right cards somehow for the USA. So maybe Trump, I've seen some AI stuff with Trump on the pitch. Oh my God. The internet is just becoming undefeated with all this stuff. He's like running on the pitch, just hitting like a half volley on the run, top right corner as it's like 92 minutes to go. Level ball game. Incredible. The pitch, it's the world we live in now is a totally different place to a couple of years ago only, and it's beautiful if you can tolerate some of the stuff going on. So I thought it was great. Ronaldo's now out. Speaking of Cristiano Ronaldo, they lost to Spain, so I think this is his last World Cup. Kenny,
we'll see. People say that, but you never know. But I mean, I guess he's not as good as he used to be. I don't know shit about soccer. And so I put it out there. I was shocked that he was taken out of the game a week ago in the 75th minute of a 1-1 game or a 1-0 game. They ended up tying it and ended up scoring again. So it didn't have to go to shootout. But do you can you take penalty kicks if you've been subbed out?
I don't think so. I think that's the thing.
When I posted that, people were like, he's not even remotely close to their best player, liability for defense, stuff like that. I was like, okay, so I guess it does make sense. I just didn't know. Yeah,
and I think in his presser, he was even like, I believe in the decision for the coach to make the best decision for the team. If he needed to pull me off. I think that's a great teammate. Obviously you don't want to make it about yourself. You're playing for your country at the end of the day. Everything is put aside. So I think, legend of sports, growing up in South Africa, lots of Portuguese friends as well. Obviously, shout out to all of them out there. So I need Spain to win.
I'm a little bit selfish because I'm happy that they lost because I'm going to Portugal in 2 weeks. And if they would have made it all the way, it would have been chaos in the streets. Just chaos.
It would have been fun.
It would have been fun. I know. I'm a little bit disappointed, but at the same time, we rented a car and we're doing the whole trips and everything, right? So it's it would have been just chaos. But yeah, it would have been fun.
Let's go. Enjoy. So we won't have Mike producing the show in 2 weeks' time. That'll be a fun one, as always. But Kenny, let's dive into this week's Renaissance Club golf course preview.
All right, so the PGA Tour, in conjunction with the DP World Tour, head across the pond for the Scottish Open, played from the Renaissance Club. This event has been played at the Renaissance Club the last, I think, 8 years. but this is only the 6th time it has been co-sanctioned by the PGA and DP World Tours. In the 8 previous iterations of this event, scoring has been weather dependent. Wiesberger, Minwoo Lee, Bobby Mack won here on good weather conditions with a score of -22, -18, and -18 respectively. Aaron Rye defeated Fleetwood in a playoff here during windy and cold conditions with a score of -11. Xander won at -7 after a windswept weekend. Rory won at -15, but not without 50-mile-per-hour gusts on Sunday. The last 2 years has been won at -15 by Goddard, up at -18 by Bobby Mack. As with many links-type courses, the weather is the main defense of the course, and it doesn't look that horrible this week. Again, this is I looked at it yesterday. So last time I looked, it didn't look like it was going to be insane wind, but looking at it now, the weekend looks like there might be a little bit of trouble, but Thursday, Friday it looks pretty tame for Scott. It is what it seems like to me. When it comes to comp courses for PGA Tour players, maybe you look at past Open Championships, RSM Classic, Honda Classic. Those are both seaside courses where wind can play a factor. For the Euros, looking at the past 5 years, looking at the past results here, Open Championships, and other events played in Great Britain, Ireland, and Scotland. If you're looking for if you're trying to go dig deep, right, for a correlated event that contains both PGA and Euros on a link style course, 2022 Saudi International at Royal Greens. It's probably the closest you're going to get outside of the actual Scottish Open course history. The Renaissance Club is a little under 7,300 yards. It's a link style par 70 with 10 par 4s, 5 par 3s, and 3 par 5s. The 3 par 5s, the drivable par 4 fifth, and the 2 short par 3s are the easiest 6 holes on the course, all playing under par. Golfers need to take advantage of these holes throughout the week to be in contention. More than half of the par 4s range from 450 to 500 yards, and these holes will be difficult. The par 4 18th was actually the hardest hole on tour a few years ago, playing like 0.75 strokes over par. If you have a golfer, at or near the cut line on Friday heading into 18, I'd be worried. This is not a true links course, as only 4 holes play alongside the ocean, but it has all the other components of link-style golf. Off the tee, golfers see average-sized rolling fairways with a fair amount of undulation. These fairways normally play firm and fast. I think if conditions are soft, it should favor longer hitters off the tee. If it plays fast and firm, it brings more shorter hitters well into the mix. If golfers just miss the fairway in the rough, it shouldn't be too difficult to play out of. But link-style imagination and use of the ground game will be needed for some approaches out of the rough. The farther a golfer misses the fairway by, the more penal the rough will be. Golfers will love the rough compared to the deep fairway pop bunkers. Get too close to the edge of those, and golfers will have to pitch out sideways. Unlike true links courses, there are a few trees to deal with if golfers miss wildly off the tee, and wild drives can also find the high fescue in some areas. On approaches, golfers are going to see large, massively undulating, slow greens. They're normally very firm, but this is weather dependent. Pot bunkers surround these upside-down, bowl-shaped greens. There are large runoff areas, which will see a lot of play, especially if the wind picks up. These elevated greens will be difficult to get it up and down so short game prowess will be necessary to succeed unless the conditions are like super tranquil. The grass on the greens is fescue, and I expect the Stimpmeter rating to be 10.5 or lower. Once again, tricky pot bunkers come into play around the greens. Byron, what are you looking for in golfers this week?
Let's go, Kenny. I kind of looked at some course history a little bit ago, and if you just filter by strokes gained course history here and take a look at the names that show up on the screen, it's kind of like just telling me good drivers of the golf ball really thrive at this golf course. I mean, it's Rory, it's Fitz, it's Xander, it's Scotty, Ludwig, Adam Scott, Tom Kim, kind of an outlier there. Tyrrell Hatton, Bobby Mack, Wyndham Clark, Marco Penge, Tommy Fleetwood, Nikolai Højgaard, Kurt Kitayama, Chris Goddard, Patrick Cantley. These are all guys that are gaining 1.2 strokes on this golf course over the last 4 years. So that is going to be box number 4 that we actually get into this week. The boxes we're going to be looking at are going to be medium, hard, and house scoring, Because if we take a look at the conditions at this golf course in the last little while, Kenny, you mentioned very weather dependent. I would imagine based off the weather that we've seen, showed that just a little bit ago in your beginning of your preview, we're going to see this medium to hard column kind of appear. I don't see the weather really trending to hellish conditions where it's like over par, where you are having to hit 2-iron stingers from 190 yards away. I don't see the wind being like that, but you never know. You never know. So what we'll be doing is just looking at some guys like in the hard conditions column, but I did filter on the top 20 for each one of medium, hard, and hellish. You can see that as we're going through it all over here and go from there. So we'll actually just start off on the left-hand side. You know what? We'll do the boxes by the numbers. Here we go. So we got medium, hard, and hellish. If you want to see the best in this field from hard conditions, which is when scoring conditions for average, even par to half a stroke under par on the field. Hellish conditions is when scoring conditions are over par. Medium scoring conditions are when it's half a stroke under par to 1.5 strokes under par. We saw easy scoring conditions at the John Deere, which is 1.5 strokes under par and beyond. That doesn't typically happen here. It's only happened one round in 2024. It must have been completely breathless. So I think we can take a look at that there. By the way, these lemon bars, I had probably more lemon bars than Denny McCarthy had birdies at this event. So shout out there. Meat and potatoes as well. Just phenomenal. Media center food could not be better at the John Deere Classic. Montreal, delightful stuff as well, obviously. All right, so your best guys in hard conditions. I'm not going to do them all, but you can see who's got blue either side of them to kind of get a feel how they'll play in various conditions, which way the wind blows. Ludwig Oberg, Rory McIlroy, Chris Gotterup, David Puig, Matty McCarty, Michael Brennan, Michael Thorbjornsson, Xander Schauffele, Marco Penge, and Thorbjorn Olesen are your top 10 golfers gaining strokes in hard conditions this week. Then we're going to take a look at the micro model. And Kenny, we have got a guy in number one spot for you listeners, not named Scotty Scheffler. We have Wyndham Clark coming in as the best option for this week's Renaissance Club golf course per the micro model here in the Model Maniac Patreon. Use code BETS26 for 50% off annual or monthly subscriptions. We're going to take a look at the top 10 guys in the micro model rankings. It's Wyndham Clark, Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, Harris English, Tommy Fleetwood, Matt Fitzpatrick, Eric Cole, Rory McIlroy, Alex Smalley, and Si Woo Kim are your top 10 course fit options this week per the micro model. Then we're going to take a look at who's playing some good golf this week. When you're playing some links golf, you've got to be in control of your golf ball. You've got to be playing good golf. You've got to have the golf ball going where you want it to be going. Let's take a look at who has gained the most total strokes over the last 2 months heading into this week. No surprise, we have got Wyndham Clark over there as our number one guy. He's won twice in the last couple months. No shocker there, gaining 3.2 strokes more than Scotty Scheffler at 2.94, sorry. Then we've got Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Thomas, Aaron Rai, Alex Fitzpatrick, Rory McIlroy, JJ Spahn, Chris Gotterup, and Tyrrell Hatton, all gaining 1.8 strokes or more over the last 2 months. If you're looking for some guys who are checking that recent form box coming in there, if you really want to get even nerdier, you can go and just take a filter by the best scores, best finishing positions in the last little while. You can see who's done that on the DP and the PGA Tour in that department. Then we're going to go back to the course history here for the last 4 years, strokes gained wise, just see who's done some good work. As you can see at the top of the board, if you're seeing a green box behind green background, it means they've checked all 7 boxes this week. So we've got a couple guys that have actually checked all 7 boxes that we'll be chatting about here. So Rory McIlroy has averaged 3 strokes on the field around Renaissance Golf Club in the past. So that's a full stroke more than Matt Fitzpatrick, who's in second. Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler, Adam Scott, Ludwig Oberg, Tom Kim, Tyrrell Hatton, Bobby Mack, and Wyndham Clark, gaining 1.7 strokes on the field, despite only ever having one finish that was a 10th place finish in the last 4 starts, being his best. So interesting there, just a very consistent appearance there for old Wyndham, worth noting. Then we're going to go to our next situation here, just taking a look at who has good upside in this field. We're going to looking at finish rates for the win percentages, the top 5 percentages, the top 10 percentages, the top 20 percentages over the last 12 months, just to get a good feel like, do these guys' strokes gain numbers reflect how often they find themselves in the top of the leaderboard, because sometimes you can have really good strokes gained, like we just saw with Wyndham, 10th in the model in average strokes gained, but his best performance was only a top 10. You get guys like that on tour who are just very comfortable hanging out just outside the top 10, just inside the top 20, and their strokes gained can be a little higher than the actual results on average. So here are your best guys in that department. Scotty Scheffler, Rahm, McIlroy, Fitzpatrick, Fleetwood, Hatton, Puig, Oberg, Schauffele, Siwoo Kim is your 10th best name there, with Chris Gotterup sitting 11th over there. So obviously Gotterup with a 15% win percentage is more than Jon Rahm, Rory McIlroy, and Matt Fitzpatrick. Hilarious stuff is all Chris Gotterup right now. Then we're going to take a look at the model ranking this week. But before we do that, I want to do the fun box that I decided to just implement. Box number 7, a mystery box, a celebrity show every single time we do the show here. And this week is going to be strokes gained at the Open Championship. Last week I did strokes gained at the US Open. This week we're just going to go strokes gained Open Championship. Who plays the best golf in links conditions? This is the course history at Renaissance. Do not get confused. This column is only strokes gained Open Championship. If you want to find their actual strokes gained for each and every one of them, we can actually just go do that over here on the comp courses one. So I've got it filtered anyway. I've got the Investec links this year as well for your true sickos that want to look at Alex Fitzpatrick and Andy Sullivan. That's in there as well. But the last 5 Open Championships here are your average strokes gainers. It's also weighted to make sure that they have at least 5. If you have less than 5, it's going to reduce that strokes gain by 20%. That's how I use strokes gain for small sample sizes. Your best strokes gainers at the Open Championship: Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele. They are 1 and 2. They gain 2.48, the exact same. Then it's Jon Rahm, Brian Harman, Rory McIlroy, Corey Connors, Tommy Fleetwood, Shane Lowry, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Billy Horschel, with Robert McIntyre also averaging over a stroke in the Open Championship. So those are your guys that really ball out in the Open, which are literally links conditions. We have some links, Pebble Beach Golf Links. It's not a links golf course. It's a golf links, Jupiter links. Where the hell is there a links course in Jupiter? You know what I'm saying? So that's what you're kind of dealing with when you're looking at golf course names. Don't get yourself swindled by the course Statfish of the week is links. Don't think that links being in the name is going to be a links golf course. Some of them are not even called links golf courses, and they are truly links golf courses. That's just your little friendly warning from your neighborhood model maniac this week. And speaking of the model maniac, here are your rankings, your top 10 Model Maniac Patreon rankings for the Genesis Scottish Open. Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Wyndham Clark, Jon Rahm, Tommy Fleetwood, Matt Fitzpatrick, Xander Schauffele, Ludwig Oberg, Patrick Cantley, and Chris Gotterup, number 10 for us over there. Kenny, thoughts on the boxes? Anything sticking out to you? Which box do you think you would apply the most this week?
I'll be honest, I wasn't paying that much attention. I was looking over work shit. I apologize. But
you could just say box number 4. You never know. Come on, Kenny. You gotta get yourself out of corner better than that.
I will say I was supposed to the company was supposed to fold, and it's not folding. And I'm just working 18 times as hard. And now we got to introduce AI to work. I did AI training today at work. It ended with my boss basically punching my computer and almost breaking it. That's how it went today.
Jesus.
With my AI training. So yeah. So awesome. Looking forward to all the new shit just to in 2 months not have the job anymore. But I'm gonna ride it out. We're gonna ride it out. There's nothing we can do. There's no way I should be making this much money. So I'm going to ride it out. I'll tell you that right now. I'm going to ride it out.
I'm laughing because I know Kenny it's not ideal, but it's going to be okay. If this was do or die for you, we got serious problems. But
no. I mean,
we are making a lot of this.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to actually getting fired from this job, and then hopefully just taking a month off and playing golf every day. That's the goal. But of course, it's probably going to happen in fucking December. Some shit. That's just the way it's just going to fucking work. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see. But what are we getting to? We're getting to bets.
The bets this week. Yeah. But before we do that, let's hear a quick word from our partner. New DraftKings customers, get in the game right now. Sign up today and make your first deposit of just $5 and instantly get $25 in free Pick 6 bonus picks, plus a powerful single-use 100% winnings boost token. That means you can play for free with $25 in bonus picks, and if you win, boost those winnings up to 100%. That's up to $100 boost in cash. New customers only. Bonus picks and your boost token expire in just 14 days, so don't wait. This offer is live from June 20th through August 23rd. Download the DraftKings app, sign up, and start playing Pick 6 today. Must be 18 or older, 19 in Alabama, Nebraska, 21 in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. Valid only where Pick 6 is available. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. New customers only, minimum $5 deposit required. Full terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Play free, win bigger, only on DraftKings Pick 6. All right, Kenny. Talk to me, baby. You've been just sniffing around the hole, you know? It's time to take.
I've been close. Like I said, I've been like multiple each ways.
Yeah.
Like 4 weeks of the last 6. It's been good. It's been good. I've been close. And like I said earlier, look, it was either going to be, I had Fitzpatrick as my first guy. I was going to go like 28-1 with 3 places. I was going to go with Fitz, but then I was looking over at Tommy. And I just got this weird feeling. So I got rid of Fitz, and I added Tommy Fleetwood, which sounds really fucking stupid saying out loud. I'll be honest. Right now. Saying that shit out loud sounds really fucking dumb. But we're going to go with it. I'm going to go Tommy Fleetwood 16-1 with 8 places. I know Tommy doesn't win. Right? But like I said, I have this feeling. This is like the same feeling I had before the Tour Championship when he won. And I bet him, with a stupid bet at 10-1. Again, another ungodly number that I bet. But he won, right? So it's not that stupid, right? The thing about it, he comes in 4th in my model. He's been right around the top 10 for almost all his events the last couple of months. His stellar long iron play and bogey avoidance could be key factors for him. And again, I had Homo with the gut play last week, finished 2nd. I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to go Fleetwood here instead of Fitzpatrick. Again, that sounds very fucking stupid, but we're going to fucking do it. That's how we're going to roll. Next, it's going to be Wyndham Clark, 28-1 with 8 places. Going with the hot hand, good course history. Not a horrible number for the way he's been playing. And the way he's been playing is the best golfer in the planet for the past 2 months, right? Been making a ton of birdies. Short game and putting have been elite. Iron game has been strong. We've seen multiple people this season with 3+ wins. I don't see why Wyndham can't be the third person this year. Next, it's going to be Terrell Hatton, 30-1, 8 places. Exceptional links history. Good course history, including a 6th here a few years ago. Coming in with a win and a 7th in his last 2 starts. Long enough off the tee with strong iron and strong short games. The rest are bombs. All 140-1 or better. And I still have some money left over. I might add somebody. I'm looking at Rattan Wrighton, 50-60-1, something like that. He's a guy that sort of catches my eye. Doug Gim sort of catches my eye, but I haven't pulled the trigger on either of them. It could be I just add live. We'll see. Make sure you follow me on X to see my full card on Wednesday evening. But the bombs. First, it's going to be, and these are a theme here, at least the first 3. It's going to be Sam Stevens, 140-1, 8 places. Bomber narrative. Seen spike weeks from him recently. That's enough at 140-1 with 8 places for me, right? I think he finished what? Had a good finish to the U.S. Open, right?
7th. Yep.
That's pretty recent. Okay. Pock Eater, 150-1, 8 places. Same vein as Stevens. Bomber narrative with, that can spike. 150-1. I'll go ahead and play that. Next, yes for
I'm likely joining you there, Kenny. Actually,
yeah.
I will be. That makes too much sense.
Yeah. Yes for Svensson, And the reason why I'm doing this is if you look at the leaderboard from last year, it was all bombers. All bombers. Now, I'm not saying that's the way it's going to be every year because we've seen like Aaron Rise win this and stuff like that. But last year was all bombers. And I think the winning score was, 18 under. So it wasn't playing like too difficult. I think that we can see something like that again this year. So my third bomb is Jesper Svensson, 200-1 with 8 places. Coming in with a couple of solid spike finishes, like top 10s, top 14s in his last couple of events. You know he can bomb it off the tee. So those 3 guys, Svensson, Pocket, Stevens, all bombers with spikeability, basically, that we've seen, recently or throughout their career, like Pocket. So those are, and my final one is going to be Bern Wiesberger, 200-1 with 8 places. Link specialist who has 2 13th, a 4th, a 3rd, and a win in his last of 8 events played. Former winner here on this course. So the card for this week, and it's not complete. I still got some room. It's going to be Tommy Fleetwood, 16-1 with 8 places. Wyndham Clark, 28-1 with 8 places. Terrell Hatton, 30-1 with 8 places. Sam Stevens, 140-1, 8 places. Pocket, 150-1, 8 places. Jesper Svensson, 200-1, 8 places. Wiesberger, 200-1, 8 places. The reason why I'm going sort of strong on the
bombers,
not the bombers, but like the long shots. I think Links Golf is more predicated to having long shot guys come in. And again, this is not true Links, but it has the style of Links. And I think that you can see random guys come out, especially if the course is not playing as difficult as it could be with the weather. And I think that you have a penchant to see more long shots do well. That's my thinking. That's why I have so many long shots on the card.
Well, I mean, those long shots, multiple winners, like in them, so it's not like they don't have winning pedigree either. Aldrich definitely being one of them makes too much sense. And again, one poor performance at the John Deere Classic where he just didn't have it for like 4 holes, and then that was it. That was the tournament, overs, cadovers. So getting a nice number there at a fantastic. I mean, Minwoo Lee's won here, as just a guy that just has ripped driver, I think like back in the day. So, Chris Gotterup, same situation. So I have not made any official bets yet, but I will tell you who I'm leaning towards for sure. It's been business day 4 for me. With accounting, I just got back from the John Deere. I've been firing up the model. I haven't had a chance to look at the betting markets. I like to find the best numbers out there, all of that stuff. But I'm looking at Chris Gotterup for sure. I understand we are in a situation where we are the defending champ and the person that's just won the last PGA Tour event. So he's defending both things, which is a very interesting scenario. But again, if he had finished second this week, we are smashing this bet. Because he's one of the best in windy conditions, in linksy conditions. This first year is phenomenal. This strokes gained Open Championship metrics could be a bit better if he'd got a bit more sample size. I would not be shocked if he continues to improve from 0.6 strokes in strokes gained Opens over the next couple of years. The guy just finished 3rd or 4th, not so last year at the Open Championship. So he's absolutely live for me. The best player in the world currently is Wyndham Clark, who's not had a finish better than 10th at this golf course, but not worse than 25th either. So if you'd imagine him playing the best golf of his life right now, I'd imagine those top 16s translate into contending this week. And I like the fact that it's not going to be super blustery. I don't like Wyndham in like a hurricane. I don't mind him in a 10-mile-per-hour wind, 10 to 15-mile-per-hour wind at a golf course that he's obviously shown you he's got great success at. And if we take a look at Clarkey, odds-wise, you can get Wyndham Clark at 31-1. You can get Gotterup at 26-1. So those are some guys that I'm looking at. And then, as you can tell, I was taking a peek at Alex Fitzpatrick's numbers, which seem to have gone down since I started looking at them. But he would be my Lindeque's ladder play of the week. He was 57-1 when this began. and now it's 55. So it's going down slowly, but I think that number is still very, very fair for somebody who has been playing fantastic golf. We don't have the best links pedigree for old Alex Fitz, but I am going to show you what he's been up to the last little while. It's just been too good of a golf to ignore. And, has had a good finish at the Open Championship in the past. So taking a look at Fitzy's last finishes, 6th at the Memorial, 20th at the Canadian Open, 23rd at the US Open, and then 7th at the Travelers. Prior to that, there's fantastic top 25 finishes as well. So you are getting that baseline top 25 on Alex Fitzpatrick, and you can get him at plus 178 right now. Ties included on DraftKings for that top 20. So as you can see, our numbers are busy recalculating as we speak. DraftKings is listening to us tell you why you should go over and use code FGD when signing up as a first-time depositor to play Alex Fitzpatrick as your Lindeque's ladder of the week. He cashed our first official one of these things. We are doing it again for him at a country that he's now home. He's from England, but he's in Scotland, the UK. I think he's going to be very, very comfortable on this golf course, playing the best golf of his life, and finally gets to bring good golf to a golf course that he's comfortable on. He hasn't necessarily had the greatest links record, but if you take a look recently, it's got a lot better. So I think Alex Fitz is going to be on the card. Patrick Reed is being monitored as well. I think he's going to be disrespected in the betting markets considering his $7,700. Out of mind, out of sight. Remember I mentioned on this earlier that we only see one easy scoring conditions in the last 4 years at this event. Well, what does Patrick Reed do poorly considering everything else is gaining 1.4 strokes and beyond, medium, hard, and hell? He struggles in easy scoring conditions. So I think if things just get a little more difficult, Patrick Reed relying on his short game a bit more, chipping and putting, obviously he's one of the best in the world. So I think I would not be shocked to see him do well this week either. So those are my leans this week so far. Going to be waiting for the weather to kind of reveal itself a little bit more too. So far, it seems pretty fair from an AM. It's kind of calm in the AM, picks up in the PM for both waves, Thursday and Friday. This is obviously on Monday evening. We don't know what the weather's ever going to do, even in an hour's time. So preface it with that. But you can catch all my bets on Back9 Bets, 3 Eastern on Mayo Media Network. I'll be providing you with all the reasonings as well, all the bets there too. If not, jump into the Model Maniac Patreon. I drop all my bets there as I make them in the Discord as well. Grab the models, grab the tools, all of that stuff. Kenny, blood, sweat, and DFS tiers, baby, for this week's Genesis Scottish Open. We have got Scotty Scheffler at the Scottish at 14-1. $1,400. Rory McIlroy at $1,200. John Rahm at $1,150. What are we doing at the top of the board over here?
I'm playing Rory. The one thing Rory has spoken about over and over again are how important these Open Championships are to him. These Opens are, the National Opens are to him. And now it's sort of tough. And that's a crazy Scotty Scheffler picture, Mike. That's insane. But the left side of my vision is bad, and I was still able to see that on the screen. That's wild. Rory, you don't know, like he doesn't play that often. You don't know whether he's going to be into it. I think the ones that we know that he's going to be into are National Opens and majors, right? Those are the ones you don't have to worry about his mind frame. You don't have to worry about if you're just testing shit out to try and be better at a major or something, because that's where Rory is now in his career. So it's tough to, try and get a feel for him nowadays. But I think in this event, National Open, of course, he's played very well. He doesn't play that much anymore. Should be well rested. I'm going to K range, no doubt. He'll probably be the only person I play in the 10K range.
I think Rory makes way too much sense here as well, Kenny. I mean, a first, a fourth, and a second at this golf course in the last 3 appearances. I mean, he loves this golf course. It makes too much sense to not play him here. What I have learned, though, and I was chatting to Ian about this over the weekend, is like, I'm so sick and tired of having the absolute nuts of Mac Masner, Christian Bezuidenhout, and Ben Coles in my lineup, all outperforming Ben Griffin and the $9,000 and beyond guys that I took a stance on. We are on camera to give you opinions about our guys. If you're playing 20 lineups, things change. You don't have to, like Kenny only plays a couple lineups a week, maybe 3 or 4. You can 5 now. It's expanding slowly as Kenny keeps crushing this kind of format for himself. And
I don't think I'm going to go past this. $500 is enough a week.
Yeah.
In DFS. I'm playing more now than I did when I was mass multi-enter.
But you're also finding that
like 50, 60 lineups a week.
With these kind of contests you're entering, even though you're spending more, the payouts just for a close call are really rewarding, compared to when you.
Yeah, I mean, $400 for a 35th place.
Yeah.
In a thing that's only 500 people entrants.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're barely in the top 10%, and you're winning 4 times your money.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
it's not 4 times of $5, right? 4 times, it's not $20. It's actually like $400, which is, not nothing.
Not at all. I mean, that's taking care of that one lineup is taking care of your entire week, so making sure that you take care of it that way makes a lot of sense. But for me,
the way I go about it, I will say the way I go about it is I make my cash lineup, right? And the cash lineup's there. And then I make my $100 single entry lineup without any guys from my cash lineup, just in case it sucks. Unless, like, occasionally I'll have, like, one guy that I absolutely love in both, but it's rare. So I do that. And then from there, I take those 12 golfers and I mix and match on the other 3 lineups that we got. So that's the way I go about, my process when it comes to, making my lineups for DFS.
I love that. And how I'm planning on doing it now is kind of just taking the butter and smearing it all over the toast. I'm not going to be looking to make any part of the sandwich taste better. I'm seemingly incapable of finding the correct guy at the top. So what I pride myself on is finding the weirdos down at the bottom, like the AJ Ewerts. We were inside the top 10 in ball striking through 2 rounds of the John Deere Classic and made the cut on the number because he couldn't putt. So if those guys come through, those are your true leverage guys because they're 5%, they're 4%, 7% versus trying to take a stance at the top here. These guys are all 15, 18, 20, 25% anyway. What are you really differentiating yourself by picking one guy? In my opinion,
we need to combine forces at some point in time because I tend to get the top guys right.
Well, this is my weakness. Is I always see these great lineups that have some $10,500 guy in T39. Like when everyone else is crushing. So this is going to be me this week.
Yeah. So like my best lineup last week had Goddard and Homa and Coles. I guess Homa and Coles are cheaper options, but Homa was still, I think, in the 8K range, if I'm not mistaken. But I tend to get those correct for some reason. And you can tell by my track record at signature events. Like, I think I've cashed 7 of the 8 signature events. My cash line was 1. So it's something about those events, I guess maybe because I see those guys more often and I know their style and I know their gameplay, that it makes it easier for me. My big thing is trying to find those diamonds in the rough.
So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll dive into them as we get down here. But again, like if I just mixed in a bit, I played 0 Chris Goddard up in DFS last week. If I switched out him for all the Ben Griffin that I did, having a totally different week, because I had all the other pieces and I just went in on Griffin. So maybe I need to keep doing that and keep waiting, or maybe I need to get with the party and understand my weakness and apply, a different strategy slightly to how I go about it. So my favorite guy at the top here is going to be Rory, obviously at 12,000. It makes too much sense given the track record. John Rahm also is a fantastic course fit at this golf course, Kenny. When you think about strong, powerful drivers of the golf ball, that is what John Rahm does. And I think we're also getting this weird, I think now he's settled all of his stuff with the DP World Tour. That's taken care of. I think they might just have decided that Liv is dead. Like, let's move on with our life. Let's go play some good golf. Let's get our way back onto the PGA Tour. There's no better way to do that than to go win a co-sanctioned event.
You can't. Live guys can't.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be inside the top of the world rankings with a good performance here. Just everything that you can control gets improved with a great result here for a live golfer. So I think it's go time for these guys to really kind of dial it in. And John Rahm, obviously fantastic pedigree until we played him in one and done at the US Open and he missed the cut there. So it is what it is, but I think he is going to be second in my situation. Then Scottie Scheffler at his price. Kenny,
the 6K range is tough this week. There's not as many golfers in the 6K range as usual. I don't know why that is, but it doesn't seem like there's, a lot of the times there's like, how many people are in this event? Like
156,
right?
Because it's co-sanctioned.
156 people in this event. But you would think that there's like 100 would be in the 6K range. It's not even half that. I don't even think. I don't even think it's 50 in the 6K range. They spread it out a lot this week. It's tough down there in those streets. It's going to be hard rostering Scotty. And if you rostered him when he finished second in the Travelers, all the top lineups didn't have him.
Yeah, exactly.
All the top lineups.
It's because the next lineup had Victor Hovland and everybody else that was right up there because they just that much better than the 3-4 other 6K guys that you have to shove in there with Scottie Scheffler. 80s.
There was. I don't think there was a single golfer. There might have been like 2 golfers in the top 25 that finished that were in the 6K range at the Travelers last time Scotty played. Maybe 2, maybe 3
in
out of the top 25.
Yeah. I mean, Corey Connors 7th, Alex Fitzpatrick 7th at 7,400 and 7,900 this week. They would have been very similar prices then. Like, look at what this leaderboard is: 9-9, 9-2, 9-1, 8-5. Those 4 guys, you can have a threesome between those 4 easily in a DFS lineup. So I think that's what you're missing with Scottie Scheffler, at this price. It's just none of these guys can join the party, unfortunately, unless they're Alex and Corey. And those are the harder guys to find, So just shoving 9K guys in there seems to work out really well at times when Scottie Scheffler is in the field. And I think at a golf course like this with the variance and, potentially easier scoring conditions, you never know what Scottie Scheffler gets up to the week before a major. So this is also, I think, the one major he does play the week before playing, which is different to his normal routine for majors, which, doesn't play the Valero, doesn't play the RBC Canadian, those kind of things. He likes to go and prep. He'll be at the Scottish this week. In the $9,000 range, we got Matt Fitzpatrick, Xander Schauffele, Ludwig Oberg, Tommy Fleetwood, Chris Gotterup, Wyndham Clark, Victor Hovland, and Robert McIntyre, defending Scottish Open Championship here. Ludwig choked away a Scottish Open Championship to Bobby Mack when Bobby Mack had the infamous spikes on the sprinkler. Was that year? Some Wyndham Clark, who's had some fantastic results along with Xander Schauffele, who's also won this tournament in the past. Kenny Kim, $9,000 range. Talk to me, baby.
Yeah, I'll have 2 lineups starting with Rory, and I'll probably have 2 lineups starting with Fitzpatrick.
Matthew
up top. That's probably how I'll go. I like I said, I almost bet him, but I decided to be dumb and bet Fleetwood. Probably not the best, but whatever. I'm going with it. Fitzpatrick, the iron game is exceptional. He hits it long enough. His short game is excellent. Avoids bogeys, good from 200 plus. I'm going to play Fitz. My first cash game cornerstone is going to be Tommy Fleetwood. We talked about a good track record here. He comes in number 4 in my model for the week. Ball striking top 15, putting top 20, accuracy top 10, long enough off the tee, really good around the greens, top 5 in bogey avoidance, really good with his long irons. So give me a little bit of Fleetwood as my first cash game cornerstone. Second cash game cornerstone is going to be Wyndham Clark down there at 9,100. Again, playing the best out of anyone out there. Incredible track record at this course. Pretty easy click for the second cash game cornerstone.
Yeah, he just makes way too much sense as well, Kenny. I mean, we know with Wyndham Clark, you're out the hot hand. Is he going to win a third? I don't know. Did we think Chris Goddard was going to win a third time this year? No, sadly he did, to many of our detriments. So this is very, very much a possibility for Wyndham Clark to come through again this week. Would be good to see him get some really good confidence going into an Open Championship, which he's not typically had the greatest success at in the past. He's actually one of the few guys. You've got to go to JT, who's at $8,600 first, to find the next guy priced above him is Wyndham Clark, who's the only person in these expensive ranges that's actually lost strokes at Open Championships. Everyone else, you can see in this column is Ludwig barely gains, but he gains. Everyone else heftily impressive in these Open Championships. So we'll see how it goes in that department. Chris Goddard is going to be maniac overridden by me from model ranking 10th to probably just sitting between Fitz and Xander Schauffele right now. I think he's playing way too good a golf to not be put in that position. And there's no win metrics in the model for me. But the moment the win gets difficult, I think Chris Goddard is an absolute play. And, you can potentially look at Chris Goddard live if you don't like his price tag before the tournament starts. We've seen how he gets as the tournament unfolds. We've seen him with these ridiculously good final rounds. He gains 1.2 strokes in round 4, gains one in round 3 and rounds 2, and then 0.8 in round 1. So he's gaining better and better as the week unfolds. So you can absolutely look in that department for Chris Goddard to do his thing. For me, I think I'll also be looking at Ludwig at $9,600. He's had really close calls at this golf course in the past. This fourth place finish, I think, was when Bobby Mack won it, and he melted down. He should have won the tournament and finished fourth. Didn't even come close.
I just don't like the way he's looked recently. Just watching him, just hasn't had the same ball striking prowess, at least from a visual. I mean, maybe his stats show different, but he's always on some featured group,
always,
and it just doesn't look the same.
You know what, Kenny? You could have said the exact same shit about Chris Goddard, and then he goes over to the John Deere Classic where he got his very first sponsors exemption, and the vibes were just good enough there to shoot a 62 on Sunday and win the tournament from an hour ahead of tee times. So if we're looking at Ludwig's baseline long term, I have zero qualms with what we expected from him this week at $9,600. He's eighth in the model, hasn't had a good finish lately, but going back to a happy hunting ground, maybe he just finds some sort of reprieve over there. He is ultimately from Europe, so he's back home as well, essentially, at least the right side of the pond. So, he could.
Yeah, he's outside the top 10 in my model this week for the first time in forever. I think he's like 13.
And, I went to Ben Griffin over Chris Goddard last week because Ben Griffin was just playing better golf. They are both fantastic golfers over a 12-month sample size. So we're trying to nitpick, bits of recent form here and there. This is what I'm trying to get myself away from is Ludwig is probably going to come in less owned than we typically see him because of these poor results. If we get some good vibes at this golf course again, we can rock and roll. So we've also returning here with a much better short game than we've typically seen Ludwig enter Links Worlds with. So we'll see what he can do there. Fitzy is ranked 6th in the model, checks all 7 boxes this week. 2nd and 4th in his last 3 starts. I mean, hello. How can you not do that when he's already got a 4th and a 6th place finish at this golf course as well? Too much sense at 9,900. Again, these are all names. You can put 3 of them in the same lineup that you can't even have in a Scotty Scheffler lineup with one of them. These are the names you're forfeiting when you're clicking Scotty Scheffler. And it just makes too much sense, in my opinion, to just jam variations of this $9,000 range into lineups this week. For me, in the $8,000 ranges, Kenneth Kim, what are we getting up to here with guys like Tyrrell Hatton, Patrick Cantley, Siwoo Kim, Justin Thomas, Jay Spahn, Kurt Kitayama, Harris English, Minwoo Lee, David Puig, Nikolai Højgaard, and Brooks Koepka, rounding out the bottom there at $8,000 flat.
Yeah, Hatton, 3rd cash game cornerstone for me. Like I said, exceptional links history, good course history, coming in with a win in his 7th in his last 2 starts, long enough off the tee, strong iron game, strong short game. It's enough for me to have Tyrrell as my 3rd cash game cornerstone. JJ Spawn interests me from a stat perspective. Approach game, always solid. Ball striking, very, very good. Hits a lot of fairways. Short game, excellent. Good from 200 plus. Kitayama, another guy that ranks highly for me. Again, the iron game and the ball striking is elite, top 5 in this field. Long off the tee, if that narrative plays out this week, good with his long irons. I do like him. I know there's someone that I like that you don't in the 8K range. Why don't you talk about him?
Let's go. When it comes to links golf and you think about good win players, some of it translates. Sometimes very good golfers just do not find the magic beans at certain golf courses. And this golfer has typically struggled at links style venues. He's not a great course fit in my model either. He only checks one of the 7 boxes we are looking at this week. He's in the $8,000 range. The driving ability is just not going to be there. The total driving long-term is not there for Justin Thomas this week, friends. We are looking at somebody who has played fantastic golf over the last 4 events. Over the periods of time that they've played at the Renaissance Club in the last 4 years, his best finish was last year at 22nd place. Nothing inside the top 60 prior to that. His strokes gained Open Championship track record is also abysmally poor. It's something that he just has not translated as a professional, and it goes hand in hand with the fact that he struggled in majors in the past. He doesn't necessarily have the best consistency in majors despite having 2 PGA championships. But Justin Thomas at $8,600 is going to be this week's Statfish of the week because we are just not seeing any of the upside we're looking for. He's been incredibly consistent, but he's starting to do the same stuff that Jordan Spieth is doing where we're just not finishing. There's always something that happens once a tournament where the consistency you're looking for, the upside you're looking for is just boneheadedly punted into the abyss by Justin Thomas. And, grading 29th in the model, the open track record's poor. It has to get like super hellish for him to really start becoming elite in those kind of conditions. The more you have to get scrappy up and down. We're projecting conditions to be in this medium to hard range this week. God bless his soul if they're easy. The guy's been struggling in those departments the last little while as well. As you can see, it's mainly got to do with the lack of overall ball striking. We're relying a lot on short game and putting right now for Justin Thomas. And, when you are chipping and putting your face off, you are not giving yourself enough birdie looks. So JT is somebody that I will be fading this week at $8,600. He is this week's Statfish of the week. Do not get caught out, friends. Justin Thomas's stats and price tag at $8,600 are a worm's jiggling on the end of a hook here. Do not nibble on that. Some other things to nibble on would be the likes of a Patrick Cantley. God forbid me for saying that one, but at $8,800, he's grading out 9th, Kenny. 4th year in 2022. I typically have issues with Cantley when we go to courses that he's got like incredible good course history and people like see he's grading out well. This week, we don't have a ton of course history for Patrick Cantley, and he's popping hard. He's a very affordable price. I don't see him being ultra popular with the names that are around him. I think he's someone that checks 6 of the 7 boxes this week. It's making way too much sense for us to go to Patrick Cantley if these conditions remain medium and hard as well. So 13th in the model for the micro course fit, and then 9th overall. It's just looking really, really good for him there, along with some Harris English, who, if you're just looking for a total driver of the golf ball, he's right there for you too and can make a bunch of putts. Also, a second at the Open Championship here last year. So this is something that Harris English is starting to find his groove. I will be betting Harris English to win the Open Championship as well. We got a 22nd place finisher in 2025 for HE. JJ Spawn, definitely look at him over the weekend as well. He's like one of the most ridiculous round 3, round 4 showdown juggernauts that you can look for if you don't have any exposure to him pre-tournament. Moving down the board, Kenny, do you have any other names in the bottom of the 8s, or are we diving straight into the 7s, which begins with...
Yeah, I like Puig. It's like a low-owned leverage play. Down here at like $8,000, $8,100. He's had a pretty good live season. He can mash the ball out there, and if we're going bomber narrative, definitely fits that. Never played this course before. We'll see how it goes. I don't expect his ownership to reach double digits. It could be a nice GPP leverage play at the $8,100 mark.
Nikolai Højgaard's got a 6th and a 4th here as well at $8,000 flat. Just finished 14th at the Travelers. If you're looking to catch some lightning in a bottle, he is someone I've never got right, but did have him at the Rocket Mortgage. Would you say, no, the Rocket, the Houston Open, Rockets in Houston anyway, but, wide open-ish in my opinion. So Nikolai could see some compy stuff over there. You mentioned you like Christopher Wright in this range. I mentioned I like Alex Fitzpatrick in this range. We got past winners and a 4th place finish for Aaron Rai over here. Patrick Reed making his debut. Marco Penge at 7,700 has a 2nd place here last year, coming off of some health scares, but a 9th place finish at the BMW International Open. Kenny Kim, what are we doing in the $7,000 range? This is, I think, a range that can absolutely make or break your slates this week.
Yeah, final cash game cornerstone is going to be Tom Kim. I think 7,600, somewhere around there. His iron game and ball striking has been really, really good. Like you said, he hasn't been able to make a putt. He's coming to a place he's familiar with really, really good finishes. As my 2nd lowest price guy in my cash lineup, I am down with that. So my cash game cornerstones for this week are Tom Fleetwood at 94, Wyndham at 92, Hatton at 89, Tom Kim at 76. Right now, I've filled out that lineup with Rattan at 7,900 and Svensson at 6,800. I'm also looking at maybe Corey Connors and Doug Gim. That would fit as well. I haven't made my final decision yet, but I really like Rattan a lot this week. 11th last year here. This is the one benefit he has over Alex Fitzpatrick, who's played this twice and missed the cut both times. Definitely not the same player he was then. But that's sort of why I want to go with Wrighton over Fitzpatrick in cash. I will be playing Fitzpatrick in GPPs, no doubt. But let's go to my Hustler Play of the Week. Last week's Hustler Play of the Week was Max Homa. He came in 2nd place. It's been very strong these last couple of months for the Hustler Play. This week's Hustler Play is going to be Shane Lowry at $7,800. Now, you look at the people around Lowry, Fitzpatrick, Højgaard, Koepka, Wrighton, Rye, Scott, Patrick Reed. They should all take a decent chunk of ownership, I would expect. I think you can get Lowry maybe at like 9%, something like that, hopefully under 10% for the week. His iron game has been improving a bunch here lately. Like, it's been really solid, like low-key solid the last month. Again, this is sort of more of a gut play. I've seen some of his footage in recent featured groups. I sort of like the way he's been going around the course. It seems like he's gotten all that, crazy Florida swing, bad juju out of his mind. Give me Lowry as my Hustler Play of the week for the Scottish Open. Other guys I do like. I'm a little worried about Reed. Like, I know he missed a cut at the U.S. Open. Okay, whatever. But he missed a cut last week, I think, in whatever DP World Tour event he played. I think the week before that, he finished 56. He's playing his 4th week in a row. And he's gone miscut, 56 miscut. So if he's popular, I think he could be a fade for me. Other guys. Now, this Chikara guy from Spain, he's just been, like, winning a bunch. Like, and I sort of like his game. Again, another guy who makes a lot of birdies, who can hit it a long ways. I can get on board with him this week at $7,600. Doug Gim, again, the ball striking looks like it's back. It looks like the other parts of his game have been solid as well. Top 20 in around the green play in the last 24 rounds in this field. He's even in the top, like, 50% in putting. It's like 62nd in strokes gained putting in this field in the last 24 rounds. I mean, that's not bad for Seaweed Doug. So I'll play a little Doug Gim. Corey Connors is interesting. That Open Championship stat that you came across sort of made me a little bit interested in Corey Connors. I'll take a peek at Connors this week.
Connors has a 19th and a 10th year in 2023, 2024 as well. So
yeah, that's what I was saying. You could throw him and Doug Gim in cash would work. I just don't think the upside is there compared to Wrighton. Wrighton, we know, can win, right? And we know he can win big boy events, right? Yeah. Connors never wins. We've never seen Doug win. You know what I'm saying? But Svensson's never won either. So, but I'm going with the upside for Wrighton, I think, when it comes to, and he finished 11th here last year. Sam Stevens is a guy that's going to be very, very low owned, 2%, 3%. Again, if you're going that bomber narrative and we're trying to match what happened last year, I mean, the conditions look sort of similar. So it's very, very possible that happens again. Kevin.
8 rounds of golf, yeah. That's good to see.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think Sam Stevens makes a ton of sense. I was going to say McClure Masner as a guy, but again, I think you're looking to go to McClure at events that are like small fish type situations. Don't take him at golf courses like the Travelers or the Memorial. He just seems to pop at the Charles Schwab and the John Deere. You know, this is a co-sanctioned event with the DP World Tour, but it has got big boy. This is a strong field, people.
10 of the top 15 in the world, man.
Yeah. We have got big names in this field, and I just think Mac finds himself a little out of place in these big fields. So despite grading out quite nicely, I will be playing him, but not nearly as much as I did last week. Sahith Theegala, another situation here, defending his fiance/girlfriend/wife on X because she's getting into a beef with some journalist who's also a giant tool, and then having to go out of your way to comment below on the posts and call her your queen. It concerns me, but all of that to be said, I think Sahith is one of the more creative guys in the field when it comes to just playing golf the way a golf course presents itself, using the contours. We've seen him play fantastic golf. US Open, last time they played there, I think is kind of linksy, you know, like just finished 11th at the US Open, baby. So 4th place here in 2024 did Sahith, and he's been playing some good golf. Again, just like Justin Thomas and co, boneheaded round here and there. He just completely melts down, can't get it together. We'll see what happens. But if you're taking a look at another links guy, Brian Harmon, looking over that little glasses situation there, I think if he can reach the fairway on 18, we are looking at someone that can do wonderful things. We've got a 12th and 21st here in the past and some good finishes lately inside the top 32 there. One of the funniest things I've ever seen was when Brian Harmon could not reach the fairway on hole 18. He missed the fairway short because the wind was howling so hard, and then he just completely lost track. He unhinged, and I think he played the next 9 holes like 10 over par. It was truly one of the most miraculous meltdowns I've ever seen, basically because he just missed the fairway short on a golf hole, which is hilarious. You know, for a professional not being able to reach a fairway, we've always had that problem. He was one of us that week. Eric Cole has to be in your lineups in some capacity. He's playing way too explosive golf right now. I mean, the guy made the cut at the John Deere Classic, finished 39th, and was almost basically dead freaking last on the leaderboard after round 1. He's been first round leader and missed cuts, you know, so he just needs to get the first 2 rounds figured out somehow, and off we go, because he's playing amazing golf. So Eric Cole, Corey Connors as well, like we've spoken about, I think make a lot of sense. And then I'm going to be looking at Alex Noren and Alex Smalley sitting at $7,500 each, both with the top 10 at this golf course in the last little while. I think that makes too much sense over there. In the $6,000 range, Kenny, we've got a couple names: Michael Kim, John Parry, Zach Beauchamp, Jesper Svensson, Andrew Putnam, Brand Snedeker. Anyone that's really kind of appealing to you? I know you're not playing Scotty. You are playing Rory. I'd imagine you need one 6K guy in the lineup.
Kevin Yu's interesting. Hao Tong Lee is interesting. Kevin's got the distance. He's been making a lot of birdies. Hao Tong is used to playing these DP World Tour type events. You know, he's a spike guy as well. Other guys in the 6K range. What about your South African guys who won a bunch? Shaper, and who's the other guy?
Jaden Shaper and goodness gracious, I should know this. We've got Henny Duplessis, Casey Jarvis. Thank you very much.
What's up with those dudes?
Buddy, they are just ultra talented. I would not be shocked to see them doing good things.
I haven't committed to them yet, but I was looking at them.
It's difficult to see because there's not a lot of stats on them as well. The two events that they won, I think, were in South Africa as well. 38th for Casey at the BMW International. He's missed 3 cuts before that. And then Jaden Shaper over the last little while has done not a lot either. He missed the cut at the US Open. I don't think he's played much. Again, I've got some weird DP World Tour names in here. So if you see like Eugenio Chikara that didn't have stats here on the screen, by the way, people, apologies. I'm going to go through all the DP guys and make sure I get all their starts in here. But it's not looking good for either of them, Kenny, to be honest with you. So
I'll leave them off. Then I do like Jesper Svensson. Talked about him in the betting segment. Also like Wiesberger. Talked about him in a betting segment.
Yeah.
Those are the 6K guys I'll probably play.
Some John Parry has got a really good track record in Open Championships as well. Finished 55th here last year and has an 11th place finish at the US Open Championship in his last start. So that's a $6,800 golfer that makes a lot of sense, in my opinion. Good across the board there. Slightly above average when it comes to distance. Not necessarily. I think we'll just have to lean on a lot of other stuff for him to do good things. I think Billy Horschel, anytime you get to Europe, you kind of can take a look at him. He hasn't had the greatest results here, but if you take a look at what he's been up to, 15th at the Canadian Open, 42nd at Charles Schwab, he's $6,600. We are looking for some guys who can potentially get some stuff done for us. Brand Snedecke refuses to finish outside the top 40 in his last 3 starts on the PGA Tour. He's $6,600, a short game wizard, not necessarily the longest driver of the golf ball, but down here that's what you're going to be getting. Any other guys?
Snedecker's like my highest. He's third highest ranked golfer in the 6K range in the last 24 rounds. Snedeker,
dude, he's just doing his thing, man. He's just balling out, figuring it out, going hard at the paint. $6,300 Richard Mansell, if you're looking for someone that's got some good course history with a 22nd and a 10th year in his last 2 starts. I would imagine he's a Scottish guy based off the name. Hasn't made a cut on the DP World Tour in the last couple starts, but again, he's $6,300 and got 2 top 22s in the last 2 starts at this event. There's worse. You can click on worse, in my opinion. So that's some names over here. I'll deep dive a couple more 6K guys for us if you're looking to play Scotty Scheffler on my show for 3 Eastern. Bring me names in the chat, and I'll deep dive your guys for you if you want me to do that for you there on Mayo Media as well, back 9 bets. So that's going to be it in the DFS Blood, Sweat, and Tears for this week's Scottish Open. One and done. Kenny Kim, we've got a bunch of good guys playing this week. Where are we leaning at the top here?
I maybe Hatton, maybe Lowry, something like that. I'm looking at those guys. Maybe even Corey Connors. Yeah, I've already used Wyndham Clark. I'm saving probably Tommy for the playoffs. Yeah, maybe I'll use Tommy. Maybe I'll use Tommy in the Mayo. Like I said, I just got a feeling.
I think I'm going to go with Chris Gotterup. I think he'll be kind of left alone, right?
Yeah.
Given the fact he's defending champ and just won. I'm going to lean into that. I mean, I wanted to play him in links environments, and now he's entering with the best form and best course history you could wish for, and we're going to have a problem with it. I'm going to try and lean into that a little bit. I went with Ben Griffin last week as the chalk bomb at the John Deere. 15% of the field went Ben Griffin. I was one of them. Complete boneheaded decision, in my opinion, there. Let's see what we can do with Chris Gotterup. We can chase him a bit at the Genesis. So I think I'll be going there this week. I want to use him at the Open Championship, but I'm going with Justin Rose or Xander Schauffele. I've saved them for the Open. I'm going to be going with one of them, I think, this week. So awesome stuff, friends. We really appreciate you all for tuning in. Thank you so much for hitting the like, hitting the subscribe, letting us know who is going to win this week in the comments below. The first person to guess the correct name gets a free month in the Model Maniac Patreon. Congratulations to our guy, Patrick, or whatever your name was that we said earlier on
Robert
the chat. Robert Chatlane. There we go. Robert Chatlane, winner of last week's. Also, shout out to our favorite comment of the week from last week, calling this show the most bizarre DFS show you've ever watched, Wayne. And we are happy to have you as a fan. I know it's the second time you'll be watching now. If you've made it this far, we appreciate you returning to the show. Hit us up in the comments. If you give us some really funny random comments, we will shout you out on this show. So we got the 2W over there from Wayne last week, Wayne Whitelock. Fantastic comment there. It made me smile. So check me out at The Model Maniac. Grab all my tools, all my bets, all my articles in the Model Maniac Patreon. Use the link in the description below for 50% off over there. We'd love to have you in that department. Catch me on X at The Model Maniac and see me at 3 Eastern on Mayo Media tomorrow on Tuesdays on Mayo Media for Back 9 Bets. Kenny Kim, get us the hell out of here, my brother.
Find me on X at Kendo VT. My final card there. Some tidbits, whatever information you need, any live bets, stuff like that. So go follow me at Kendo VT. Should be a fun week. We're across the pond. There's faux links course, different style. Gotta like it. I think it's going to be, is it primetime golf or is it earlier? It's earlier golf. So a little earlier golf for the next couple of weeks, which will be nice for the early birds like myself. Let's have ourselves a week. Let's win some motherfucking money. DJ Nation.
I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Belfort. Stacking penny stocks while I'm flipping these birds. Sipping on Ciroc, trip 'em up with the words. I done popped the